Hey, it's Catherine Ewing here from Emotional Freedom at Last. So I just decided today to come on and make a little special offer to you, and I'll explain to you why. So I had posted a picture of my grandson online. It was adorable, of course. And I sent it to my daughter's Facebook page, and she wrote back, "Oh, I can't wait to hold him in 2 weeks when I'm home for Thanksgiving." And I was like, holy crap, it's only 2 weeks to Thanksgiving. So I knew that, but somehow I really hadn't registered it, right? And then I looked at my calendar and realized it's only 7 weeks till the end of 2015. Like, how can that possibly be? It seemed like just a few weeks ago, I was waiting for, December of 2012 to come, right? We waited so many years for that big date. And here it is 3 years later as we approach December of 2015. And it sort of got me thinking about this passing of time and the passing of years and how many things and I know many other people have not accomplished that we've set out to accomplish. And I'm somebody who's in action a pretty lot of the time, but there are lots of things that I've committed to do or finish or start, or see through to the end that for one reason or another never happened. And there's something about coming to the end of another year that really brings that into sort of full focus for me. And so I started thinking about, well, when have I been really successful? And I've done a lot of things, and, people look at me and say, wow, you do so much. And I have, and I do. But I'm the only one who knows, right, of all of these things that I haven't done. Those things that I'm going to get to, that book that I'm going to write, or that program that I'm going to create, or whatever. But I was thinking about the one time in my life where things were set up in the perfect way for me to succeed. And it was actually back in 1998. And I had been a runner for my whole life. And I happened to meet someone who was running half and then full marathons. And I decided, I had this thought in my 20s, I'd like to run a marathon someday. So now I was 43, and I thought, if I don't do this soon, it's just never going to happen. So I decided that I was going to run a marathon. And I thought, okay, I have 3 kids, I was working 2 jobs, and had several different volunteer things that I was doing. And I thought, how am I ever going to find the time to run? But I decided that early morning had to be the time, because I know if I didn't do it in the morning, if I promised myself I would get to it later in the day, it just wouldn't happen. I mean, that was just a straight out lie to myself, right? So that I could roll over and go back to sleep. So I thought, all right, how am I going to set this up so I can be successful? So the first thing that I did was settle on a big why. Like, I knew I wanted to run a marathon, but I needed something more than just, I thought it would be cool to run a marathon. So I decided that I would run it as a fundraiser for the Leukemia Society. So I signed up through them to run the Marine Corps Marathon, and I was running it in honor of a little girl, a 6-year-old girl with leukemia. And there was a fundraising piece attached to it. So that was my why. Once I went ahead and made that public and started asking people to make donations, I was in, right? I was not going to let people down. It's hard for me to ask for anything, right? So asking people for donations was hard for me. It was probably harder than actually training and running the 26.2 miles. But it was making that public commitment that really sort of held me to that. The other thing was that I knew exactly what I needed to do, because the Leukemia Society provided materials and a coach. So I knew I had to start training on such and such a date. I had to run a certain amount of mileage every week. I had to increase and then drop back, and then increase and then drop back. And every other week, I had the opportunity to do my longer runs with a group. So there would be other people there. There was a coach who sort of laid out the run, put out water and these really not very good gel things for energy. But so there was someone taking care of the details, and there were other people to do it with. And so it made it fun and it made it easier. Not easy, but easier. The third thing was that I created some additional support and accountability for myself, because I am not an early morning person. I never have been, and I never will be. It's just my truth. And I knew that if I was going to get up, as my daughter would say, at the crack ass of dawn and get out of bed and run 5 or 6 mornings a week, I was going to need some really, close at hand help with that. So I enrolled my neighbor, who was a morning person and was very dependable and wanted to increase her running, her mileage as well. And that was a perfect solution, because I knew that if Joanne was standing at the end of my driveway, I would get my you-know-what out of bed. And if it was just me and my intention, many mornings might have rolled over and then, not done my weekly training run. So by the time I went to the group run, I wouldn't have been able to keep up with the group. And I'm really competitive. So sucking wind or coming in at the back of the pack was not my thing. Knowing that Joanne was standing out there was going to keep me going. When I would renege on a commitment to myself, I wouldn't renege on a commitment to her. And then I had to create some habits, in my lifestyle that supported my decision, right? So that meant that I was paying more attention to what I was eating. I was drinking more water and probably less alcohol. I was stretching before and after I ran. I was getting to bed earlier because I was getting up earlier. And, my family was on board. They knew that I was doing this, and everybody was sort of on board for me to get this training done. So I created, habits and a lifestyle for that 6-month period that really supported my goals. And, so that's it. And I realized that's really what we need when we want to accomplish something. We need to know what it is that we want to do. We have to have a really strong why, like that's the fuel, that's the thing that keeps us going. We have to have a plan. We have to have accountability and support, and we have to have some fun when we're doing it, or it's just not going to happen. So how does that tie into this idea that it's coming to the end of the year? Well, I know from my own experience how it feels when I've reached another milestone, whether it's, a time of the year or a birthday or whatever it might happen to be, and I haven't accomplished something that I had set out to accomplish. So I decided to offer sort of an end the year strong gift. It's kind of my Thanksgiving holiday, let's get 2015 back on track. There's 7 weeks left. So I'm offering you the opportunity to work with me to get clarity about what it is that you want to do or get back to that you didn't finish. Get really clear about why you want to do that, right? Put some fuel in your tank. Look at the blocks. Where's the resistance? What's getting in your way? What's not allowing you to move forward the way you would like to. Create a plan about how to move forward and have me there to offer you some support and feedback and, helping you get back on track when you might start to slow down or get off track. So how does that sound? Is there something that you would love to? Maybe we won't finish it in 2015, but we can certainly get a great start. So what I'm offering is 4 sessions with me. If you're local, around Hartford, Connecticut, you can come to my beautiful office. If you're far away, that's okay too, because I Skype and I do sessions by phone. So we could do 4 sessions. I do 75-minute sessions. It's a lot of time together, but I love 75 minutes. For some reason, there's just a natural flow that lets us get comfortable and connected and really get deep into the issues, do some tapping if we need to, and then just naturally sort of end the session without feeling rushed. So 4 sessions, 75 minutes, 5 hours total with me between now and the end of the year. And if we have to run a little bit into 2016, that's okay too. For honestly, a rock bottom price. I am offering this at probably less than half of what my Rates generally are $600 to get back on track, get moving, get support, get the blocks out of the way, the fears, the anxiety, the worry, the monkey mind, the resistance, all that crap that's in your way. Let's just blast through it. Let's be done with it and get you on track so that you can end the year feeling really good. How does that sound? It sounds good to me. It really does, because I know how transformational and how powerful it can be. So how do you do this? So the best way to do this is to go to my website, www.emotionalfreedomatlast.com. I'll put that in a little credit thing at the end. And then there's a little tab, that pops up that says Let's Connect. So click on that, put your information in, click on Schedule an Appointment, and then it'll take you to my scheduling calendar. The last thing there on the list is End Your Year Strong, right? So that's where you want to go. Let's connect, put in your information, and then end your year strong. And that's it. Then I'll get a notification that you've signed up, and it'll be awesome. Okay, have a wonderful day, a wonderful life. Catherine Ewing here, Emotional Freedom at Last. Many, many, many blessings.